Hi there. Today we're going to be walking through how to set up a Splash integration with ON24 webinars. Once we're set up, any webinar event we create in Splash will automatically create a corresponding ON24 webinar. Each Splash event registration will create an approved webinar registrant in ON24. And finally, confirmation and reminder emails with unique participant links will automatically be sent from ON24. An added bonus, you do not need a technical background to set this up. Before we dive in, it's important to note the requirements. To set this up for your team, you need a Splash Enterprise account and access to the Integrations Manager. On the ON24 side, you'll need an Elite Admin account and to create a webinar that you'd like to use as a template. Let's begin our setup in ON24. Go to the Analytics section, then click into the API dashboard. This is where you'll grab your client ID, access token key, and access token secret. Splash needs access to these endpoints, so selecting all is recommended for optimal syncing. Next, head back to your Webcast Elite dashboard. To locate a webinar ID, click into any existing webinar. This is going to act as your template, and you could set up different ones for different types of webinars. If you don't have a webinar in your dashboard, now is the time to create one. Don't worry, it just takes a few seconds. Okay, there's the ID. Let's copy this down. Next, I'm going to review the settings carefully. Since you're using this as a template, you could preset the webinar duration, presentation type, and tags. Even more importantly, you'll want to spend some time crafting your webinar console and email templates, which are very important parts of your guest experience. Now let's move on to registration settings. Splash is going to send all registration information over to ON24, so this is where you could choose the registration fields you'd like included in that sync. As a best practice, if a field is added in ON24, it'll need to be added to the Splash registration form as well. Finally, let's head over to our webinar capacity settings. Some ON24 accounts have different default capacities, so if you want or don't want a cap, here's the place to set it. Note, this field does not sync back to Splash. Okay, Splash time. Setup takes place in the Integrations tab. Hit the new integration button and choose ON24. You'll authenticate by inputting your client ID, token key, and token secret. Save and move on to settings. You'll have the option here to give your webinar a meaningful name. However, the default name is pretty self-explanatory. Then move to your trigger conditions. Here's where the magic occurs. You're able to match your Splash event types to your ON24 webinar templates using the ON24 webinar IDs. So in this example, let's tell ON24 to use the weekly product demo template whenever we select the virtual event type. Bam, there it is. This feature is useful because it prevents you from triggering the integration for all your non-webinar events. Okay, save your changes, turn the integration on, and how about that? You're ready to test your live integration. Now head over to your events dashboard and create a new event. Make sure you choose an event type that'll trigger the integration. After the event is created, return to ON24 and check to see if your new webinar is in your dashboard. Open that webinar up to make sure the correct template was used for cloning. Now preview your Splash event and submit a test RSVP. The test registrant should appear on the ON24 registration list. Nice. And if confirmations are active in ON24, you'll receive an email with your participation link. Testing complete. Feels good every time. To learn more about the Splash integration with ON24 webinars, head over to support.splashthat.com and check out our complete user guide.